Angela Davis is a very accomplished individual within the black community. She is known for her influence in the Black Panther Party. However, this is just a small portion of her journey through life.
Philosophy professor Angela Davis admitted that she is a member of the Communist Party.
Hoover put her on the top 10. Everybody had a file on it.
Her first lecture drew 2,000 students.
Angela's education is now being put into practice.
Angela Davis purchased 4 guns.
There is a conspiracy in the land. It's a conspiracy to wipe out the black community as a whole.
Well, I think she's trying to overthrow our system of government, and she admits that.
The actions of the FBI in apprehending Angela Davis, a rather remarkable story.
A U.S. District Court judge set bail at $100,000.
She knows that the movement to free all political prisoners is growing every day.
This entire incident was a deliberate provocation.
They wanted to break me. They wanted me to respond.
There was enormous feeling for Angela everywhere in the world.
We know that she is innocent.
We want to tell that Pharaoh in Washington to let Angela Davis go free.
Angela Davis was born into a middle-class family on January 26, 1944 in Birmingham, Alabama. This is where she got her first glimpse at racism at a very early age.
That some of my very earliest childhood memories are the sounds of dynamite exploding. Homes across the street from where I grew up were bombed when they were purchased by black people who were moving into a neighborhood that had been zoned for whites. So many bombings took place.
Angela later attended New York's Little Red Schoolhouse, which is where communism was first introduced to her, due to the school's communist faculty and student body. She then moved to attend Elizabeth Irwin High School in New York on a scholarship. Here, she then explored solutions to poverty and racism while expanding her knowledge on communism. While attending this high school, she lived as a house guest with Herbert Apotheker, a Communist Party chief's theoretician, and his family. After studying 2 years in Europe, she moves back to the U.S. to partake in escalated activist movements. Davis promotes communism during the movements because she believes that communism or socialism is necessary to liberate blacks. Many individuals disagree with these particular thoughts.
Well, there's no single, simple meaning of the term revolutionary. A revolutionary is a man or a woman who is a lot of things, but basically, the revolutionary wants to change the nature of society in a way to promote a world where the needs and interests of the people are responded to. A revolutionary realizes, however, that in order to create a world where human beings can live and love and be healthy and create.
In 1968, Angela joins the Black Panther Party in Los Angeles. She also joins the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
Is the time of the Black Panthers past?
The Black Panthers still exist, and the Black Panthers are still extremely active in the Oakland community and in communities all over the country. I'm not sure whether you are aware of what is now happening in the Black Panther Party and the kinds of things that members of that party are doing now.
No, but tell me.
First of all, if you're going to talk about a revolutionary situation, you have to have people who are physically able to wage revolution, who are physically able to organize and physically able to do all that is done.
Yeah, but the question is more, how do you get there? Do you get there by confrontation, violence?
Oh, is that the question you were asking?
Yeah.
See, that's another thing. When you talk about a revolution, most people think violence, without realizing that the real content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and the goals that you're striving for, not in the way you reach them. On the other hand, because of the way this society is organized, because of the violence that exists on the surface everywhere, you have to expect that there are going to be such explosions. You have to expect things like that as reactions.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
Shortly thereafter, Davis is devastated by the death of Martin Luther King Jr. Although her philosophy very different from King, she is very distraught by his death and the negative impact that it would later have on the black community. In July of '68, Angela joins the Chiluamba Club, which is the black cell of the Communist Party. Joining this group officially associates her with the Communist Party.
Desire, curiosity to know.
I think
and
that's
what I generally say, and I answered the brother and tried to explain in a few words why I was a communist, and I said essentially the same thing that I had said when I told you why I was a revolutionary, because I have a very strong love for oppressed people, for my people. I want to see them free, and I want to see all oppressed people throughout the world free. And I realize that the only way that we can do this is by moving towards a revolutionary society where the needs and the interests and the wishes of all people can be respected.
Then in 1970, Angela becomes affiliated with George Jackson. In August, a prison uprising related to Jackson's case occurs, and Davis is accused of taking part in this. Davis appears on the FBI's most wanted list. She is able to evade the police for 2 months before being arrested. Davis was charged with murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy for allegedly supplying weapons for an attempted courtroom escape led by Jonathan Jackson to free his brother and revolutionary leader George Jackson.
It really didn't matter who I was, or it was that I was a very convenient figure to make a point that they would suppress any efforts at revolution and liberation.
While incarcerated, she still gained outside support, having 2 songs written about her, one by John Lennon and Yoko Ono called Angela.
Angela, they put you in prison. Angela, they shot down your man.
The second would be Sweet Black Angel by the Rolling Stones.
Got a sweet like an angel, got a peanut girl, got a sweet like an angel, up on my wall.
She would spend the next 18 months in the Women's Detention Center in New York awaiting the trial. Prison gives her the opportunity to discuss issues with prisoners and observe the extreme state of the prison itself. Davis continues to advocate while in prison. She discusses her beliefs and her philosophy and outlook on communism and empowerment to the prisoners. In 1972, Angela is acquitted of all charges and released from prison. In the fall of 1972, Davis begins to teach at San Francisco State University, even though Ronald Reagan swore she would never be allowed to teach in the University of California system again. In the 80s and 90s, Davis continued to work as an academic, publishing many books and teaching and lecturing throughout the United States. Today, she is a philosopher and teacher at the University of Santa Cruz and San Francisco University.